What's up? Chantal, maybe later. I'd like to try. Do you hear me? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll text you. All right. Take a look at your ape. Did you trade yesterday? Is your Apex balance reset? Your trading balance? All my Rhythmic trading balances have not been reset from yesterday. Something's going on with Rhythmic. Something's definitely going on with Rhythmic. Yeah, it started yesterday. Langford pointed it out at the open at 6 p.m. It seems like it has not been rectified. So I'm not sure what the problem is. I'm waiting for a response to a ticket. I did not hear anything from everyone.
WTI oil down over 5% on report the US malls unfreezing Iran
Okay,
funds.
yeah. All right. I did not receive that. Where'd that come from? Ah, okay. Yeah. Can you send me a link for that group? Are people saying that the trading is fine? I mean, it looks like the charts are generating properly. Are anyone saying that trading is
Bank
a
of England's
problem?
Pill says, I think we're restricted with current level of bank rate. Pill says, but clearly we're less restricted than we were with bank rate at, say, 4.5%. This is further from the Axios piece from earlier on about potentially unfreezing Iran's frozen assets. According to two sources, the US was ready in earlier stages of negotiations to release
I'm going
$6
to
billion
start the
for
room
Iran to purchase food,
a little bit
medicine,
early.
and other humanitarian
We're
supplies.
streaming
The
already.
Iranians demanded $27 billion.
It's Friday. I feel like blowing up a few accounts today. Anybody else in the mood to blow up a few accounts with some craziness? It's Blow Up Friday. Blow Up Friday. That's what I call it today. Francis, you're talking real money. I'm talking paper play money. I'm talking play
So,
money.
according to sources, the US is leading G20 initiative toward coordinated action ensuring
Play
fertilizer
money.
access and buffer against disruption in food trade supply chains. The US is urging G20
That's
nations
what I
take
was
joint action
asking
along
James.
with
I
IMF and
sent a
World Bank,
ticket
getting according to
about that.
sources.
Chantal,
This
you see
further from
what
the
James
Axios
is
piece
saying? You're
says
saying,
that the
have you heard
latest number
anything
discussed by US and
in the
Iran is
group
$20 billion,
about
dollars, with
trading being an
sources
issue
said. One US official
because the
said that was a
resets?
US proposal. The other US official described the
I mean,
cash for uranium
I'll
concept
trade
as one of
some
many discussions.
micros,
Meanwhile,
James.
the US asked Iran to agree to ship all
Before
its
the
nuclear
open.
material to the US while the Iranians only agreed to
No
downblend it
issues. I
inside
haven't
Iran.
heard any issues on Financial Juice. Usually they'll report if there's problems also. Anytime, if you ever have really serious doubts, don't trade your funded accounts. You know, you can always take one day off in a funded account. I mean, you want to check your rules, but generally, I think if you miss one day, all right. I was up all night from 3 o'clock on, just reading news and could not sleep. I couldn't get back to sleep no matter what I did. Then I ate some pretzels and cheese and pretzels. That was my late dinner or early breakfast, I guess you could say. Cheese and pretzels. And now I'm raring to go. Feeling good. Feeling good. Welcome everyone to the Pro Trader and Plus Market Opens. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director at 10 Minute Trades. Please remember, all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. All right, so just a heads up, everybody, get yourself to time.is. Make sure your computer is in sync. That's job number one when you get here in the morning. Everybody should do it every morning before you start your trading. What I do, I've said this a million times, I wake up, the first thing I do is I go to my computer, I shut down everything, and I reboot my cable modem, and then I restart my computer with a fresh reboot of everything. I just like doing that. Then I go to time.is and I make sure my computer is in sync. Time.is. If my computer is not in sync, inside the file folder, in the trade room, files, grab the file D4 time or PT sync. That file will
Keep an eye on
allow
the
you,
Dixie extending decline after
after you
Axios report
install it,
leaders in Iran
run
negotiating
it, and
over
it will allow you
three-page
to
plan to
sync your
end the war.
computer. Just
Last time
press
about
the
spot
sync
2
now button
4%.
a couple of times until you see the synchronized line change. Then check your time sync again with a fresh browser. Fresh browser. Start from scratch, reload your time.is, time.is. Not same browser, not same window. Use a new window, a fresh window, and check it again. And then 99% of the time, you will be in sync. So this morning, Rhythmic, there's an issue that's delayed the start of day. Logins and market data, it's weird, became available at 6:37. That's 37 minutes late. So there's some sort of a start of day processing issue with Rhythmic. P&Ls not reset. Daily loss limits not reset. Daily loss limits not reset. That could affect your trading. If it's assuming you've got daily loss limits, right, and they're yesterday's, it could affect, if you have a bad day and then start off poorly today, you could have an account shut down by hitting the daily loss limit, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what that sounds like. So if I trade today, I am going to trade, but I won't. I'm not going to use. I'm not going to use a funded account that had a bad day yesterday. I'm not going to use my funded account that I'm hoping for a payout on. I have to file some stuff. I'll use accounts that I didn't use yesterday, or I'll use accounts that I used lightly yesterday. That's my plan for today. That'll be my plan for today.
US Treasury yields decline and report of the
Anything
US and Iran
positive,
negotiating
I'll
three-page
use,
plan to
but
end
I
the
won't
war.
use none of my negative accounts until things get reset,
According to the Wall Street Journal, Anthropic CEO lands White House
which
meeting
may not
as
be
the
for
feud
us.
thaws.
We may not experience that. Now, the only way you would know is by disconnecting your prop data feeds and reconnect them, right? You're not going to know anything unless you disconnect. If something changes, you have to disconnect and reconnect. So you wouldn't know unless you disconnected and reconnected, unless obviously someone tells us.
So according to reports here from Kepler, over the past 24 hours, 24 vessels crossed the Strait of Hormuz.
Plus, there was a Windows update yesterday. Netflix didn't really give us an opportunity for anything. They were early. Not that they were early, but they were right at the market open. Close, I mean. Netflix was right at the close. Couldn't trade it. Disappointing. Netflix is a big, big disappointment as an earnings trade. And you know what? I talked about it in the room. For the whole history that we've been trading earnings, Netflix has been not a good earnings trade. So today, what I'll do, if everyone will remind me when we're done, I didn't even look at the schedule for next week. I'll look at the schedule with everyone and give you a heads up. I know that
US
there's
10-year
probably
yields
going to be a
last at
couple of
around
great
4.27%,
opportunities for
2-year
next week.
yield last at around 3.74%.
And I'm always looking forward to getting up early for a great opportunity in all seriousness. I believe that United Health is next week. And then, like I said, I didn't look at the schedule yet. We'll look at it together. Right now, the markets are all new highs. So every day is another challenge when we get here. Every day. Just one day, I would like nothing but market gifts. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where every trade is perfect. Every trade is a trail, trail, trail. Every trade is a beautiful winner. I would love to have that kind of a day, wouldn't you? Where everything is beautiful. Everything is beautiful. One of the least favorite songs I've ever heard in my whole life. Ray, somebody sang that song, I believe. Everything
Just
is
keep an eye on movements on the markets
beautiful.
again, seeing some further movements towards the upside on the
Blah,
S&P
blah, blah,
500,
blah,
seeing if there's
blah.
any new headlines that have come through.
All right.
Obviously, we will relay that to you as soon as we can.
So I believe that
Arakchi on
AI
X says, in line with the ceasefire in Lebanon, passage
and
for all
music
commercial
creation
vessels through Strait of Hormuz is declared completely open
is
for the
allowed.
remaining period of
I
the ceasefire.
think AI is one of the
So again, Arakchi says
greatest
passage for all
tools
commercial
I've
vessels
ever
through
seen in
Strait
my
of Hormuz is
life
declared completely open
to
for
help
ceasefire.
with music
So again, for the
creation.
remaining period of the ceasefire,
Absolutely
and says
love
on the coordinated route as
AI
already announced by
for
post and
generating
maritime organizations
ideas. You
of
know,
the
if you're a
Islamic
songwriter,
representative of Iran.
AI is spectacular, a spectacular tool. And people that are against it are silly. I'm not saying you should take credit for just typing nothing in and generating a song. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think that AI with music creation can be an excellent tool, a great idea generator. That's what I think. As a songwriter, that's what I believe. And sometimes it's really goofy, and it's a lot of fun. I will say that. It is a lot of
Seeing further
fun.
down,
All
some
right,
movement on
let's
WTI
talk
off the
about
back
what
of
we're
that
going to do
headline there
here.
from Maracchi.
Let's look at
Further
the
movement
oil
towards the upside
chart.
on the S&P 500. Further down, some movement from the Dixie. Again, Aragchi
CL
says passage for all commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz is declared complete open for the remaining period of the ceasefire.
oil's going down because right now the war news is good. I mean, quote unquote good. So right now you're looking at oil making new lows. You got to be careful this morning. Markets are all anomalies, right? All the markets are anomaly markets right now because of news. It's not normal behavior. And there's not a single chart that I've looked at that looks like it's having normal behavior so far. Looking at a 15-minute oil chart, obviously, oil started dropping seriously at about 4 in the morning. It made a new high, and it's down $5 from that new high. Now, do you want to jump in and scalp? Do you want to chase? I don't like chasing, but one crazy thing about having prop accounts is you can chase, and what's the worst that'll happen? You might have to reset the account, or you might have to wait for the account to rebill, or Bullinox is having a sale. So for $19, you can just buy a new account. So you could screw around all you want. Try to pass an account, chase, do all
Spot
the
gold
bad
rising
habits, all the
1%.
things we
Again, off
say
the
that
back
are
of
bad
Aragchi's headline,
about prop
Hormuz
trading,
open
which
in line
is
with the ceasefire in
the
Lebanon
horrible trading
for the
habits it
remainder of the ceasefire.
creates. But there's no accountability of any significance because for a very small amount of money, you can get a new account, right? Like, don't you want to chase this oil
Order
market short
filled.
right now? Now I'm in sin because I'm not going to promote terrible trading habits today. But what if you chased that in your cash account just now and you didn't even put a strategy on? You just sold at the market using the chart trader. If you're crazy and you start putting on trades with no stops and no targets, then you got to get yourself protected, right? So right click the chart, and we went short, so you better put a buy
Order
stop on
submitted.
and give yourself a stop, right? Not a bad idea. And then go below, go far below, and put a buy limit down below
Order submitted.
so you have a target. And now at least you can make your trade somewhat safe because you have a stop and a target.
So emerging market FX spikes as Iran says Strait of Hormuz is open.
But if you had decided to chase that at the moment, I would be down over $500 if I decided to chase that. So I'm not recommending chasing today. I'm not recommending chasing. I don't think it's a good policy in general. It almost always seems that the moment you chase is the moment the market reverses, right? Now look, all of a sudden it's gone our way, or at least the market seems to know exactly where we entered. That's the other crazy thing about trading. How does the market always know exactly where you entered? And it goes right to that spot, makes you feel like, oh, I'm going to survive this trade. And then it changes direction again. How does the market know that? Your exact entry. Doesn't it always seem that's the case? I know you know what I'm talking about. I know you know what I'm talking about. These are the things that always happen. The market knows exactly where you entered, and it will not go past that.
Stocks Europe 600 oil and gas index drops sharply, last down 2%.
Now, look, you have a big profit here. Would you have had a 50 or 60 tick stop on crude? I don't think so. I think most people, they would have
Of course, we're
taken a
just going to see what
$300
Trump
loss
says
on
now,
that
if he does
trade.
anything on Truth
Order
Social.
Most
filled.
people,
Order canceled.
they might have
Seeing
taken a
stocks Europe 600
$300
index
loss
gaining to
because they would
1%
have gotten
to a
scared
session high
and their
now
stop would
for
have
the
been
back of those
30 or
Iran
40
headlines.
ticks, not 50 or 60, even though we're seeing extreme volatility right now in oil. Extreme, extreme volatility. I'm not going to trade the breakout. Iran's foreign minister passage for all commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz is declared completely open for the remaining period of the ceasefire. All right, that's why oil is dropping like a rock. That's why the markets are going up. You can chase if you want. You can chase if you want. I'm not a, I
Brent
mean,
crude oil and
if
WTI
you're a prop
futures
trader,
down more than
you could take
8%
one
after
account.
Iran's foreign minister
If you
declares
have a bunch
passage
of
for all
accounts like
commercial
most
ships
people usually
vessels
do,
through its Strait of
you
Hormuz
can
open.
use one account for bad trading habits, right? You could use one account for bad trading habits. Is that a smart thing to do? Probably not. Probably not. Especially on a day when all the balances haven't been reset either. Balances have not been reset. So you could really screw up an account today. Something's up with Rhythmic where the balances have not been reset. Just for fun, I was going to reset my SIM account back to 0. Right click SIM, click edit, click reset, clear histories checked, yes, okay. Now, this morning, I don't have very much interest in trading the oil open breakout. We're just looking at oil, all right? That's our 1 minute chart, just watching oil. I'm not trading it. Um, normally I might have
Futures up
might have been willing
0.8%,
to put a magnet on it.
Nasdaq futures up 0.9%, Dow
This
futures up
morning,
1.1%. So again, S&P 500
I
E-mini
have a
futures
magnet
up
from a
0.8%,
previous setup.
Nasdaq futures now up 0.9%, and Dow futures up 1.1%.
We did make a new low. The big new low was 825, and then the announcement was made at 845 is when this announcement was made about the Strait. That's when the market recognized the Iranian announcement and it was printed. So this morning,
Germany's
obviously,
10-year government bond yield
we're
dropping
looking
by
at
6.5 basis points to around
tricky
2.97%. Fed
markets.
swaps see dovish
Tricky
shift
markets.
and price
I
15
would
basis
not.
points of rate cuts by
What's
December.
fascinating is there was a long signal generated. I would not have taken a long signal after that news. I just wouldn't. And that signal generated not that many ticks, 18 ticks. Still, And that was over many minutes. You could have taken that signal and got out with a small profit, but if you would have got caught with the news, that would have stopped you right out. Now, if we wait to the open, the markets may calm down a bit from all this extra early news, and we may have a reasonably normal open. So I will do reasonably normal opening trades. So I'll put our YM 0626 in the middle, YM 0626. Right now I'm going to watch oil till 9. We have a breakout strategy on oil that we have used just for fun in sim. I'll throw that breakout strategy on the chart. I'll increase the bracket to 20. Let's see if I can get it set up in time. Oil new open. I should be able to get it set up. Oil new open. We'll redate it today. Today is the 17th already. And our breakout is 859.59. I'll get a 20 bracket on this baby, and 8 and 40 on my targets instead of 20, and I'll make the stop a 35. Like I said, sim only. 8 and 40 on the targets. Target 1 stop move. Let's make that first target 15. 15 and 40. Target 1 stop move.
The dollar index further
Target 1 stop
declines
move will
after
be
Iran
break
declared
even.
Strait of Hormuz open to commercial shipping, last down by
Clearly just
0.46%.
simming this, folks.
Stocks Europe Travel
This has been
Index
a
and
trade
Leisure
that has
Index
not
hits
worked
intraday high, last
in
up
general.
2.2%. Effective Fed funds rate unchanged at 3.64% April 16th.
Even under with markets being normal. All right. So just for fun, I want to see what happens with the brackets, with the open. It is the oil market open, 9 o'clock. A couple of opens this week, we had no moves. We had no response to the open, and we just canceled. If the market doesn't burst, generally I'm not that interested.
Order submitted.
Are you going to get just a short?
Order
So it
submitted.
pops to the upside.
Order filled.
It's the beauty of brackets. The beauty of brackets. We're just getting a retrace, right? Which we see a lot. You get a retrace. Maybe I'm a fool for not just blowing up a prop account if it doesn't work. But it was a perfect breakout. Now, we did make our brackets bigger. We did make our targets bigger. But you're not out of the trade yet, and you're up.
ECB's President Lagarde says
It's
the
going to be a
uncertainty surrounding the
$400
outlook for
trade, it
euro
looks
area
like.
inflation has increased significantly following the outbreak of the war in the Middle East. Lagarde says we're determined to ensure inflation stabilizes at 2%. And risks to the
Now,
outlook are tilted to the
I'm
upside,
not
especially in the
watching
near term.
gold.
So it's a US CENTCOM
Not
now
watching
commenting
gold.
here on X.
Order filled.
So that was a 400 sim trade, $400 in sim. I'm going to try disconnecting
So US says
one more
USS
time,
Rafael
folks.
Peralta
I'm going to
directed the vessel
reset
to return to
sim.
Iran
How do you
port.
reset sim to 0? Click on
ECB's President
accounts,
Lagarde says we're closely
highlight
monitoring the
your sim
situation in
account,
Iran or in the Middle
right
East.
click it, edit the account, reset. Clear history should be checked. Yes.
CENTCOM also
Okay
says
it.
on
And
Hormuz
now
that
my sim
19 ships
account
complied with
is back to
direction to
0.
turn around.
All right. Putting the MNQ. MNQ. MNQ, the gold 9 o'clock open. The gold 9 o'clock open, um, that looks like an interesting trade. I've been looking at gold a little bit at 9. Now this morning, if you look at the candle, has a pretty, looks like a pretty easy
CENTCOM
short.
also adds that zero vessels have evaded
Looks like a
US
pretty
forces
easy
during
short.
the blockade.
The bracket size is an issue or a question. Nitin, what do you like? Nitin, what do you like on your bracket right now? 25 still? 30? Roz, you're not going to be able to do anything because they haven't been able to reset Rhythmic. That's the problem. The problem is there's a Rhythmic hasn't reset from yesterday. So there's nothing you can do until everything gets reset. So you probably just can't use your Bullnox. So I'm only going to trade in my just run-of-the-mill props. I'm probably not going to trade in my funded accounts today. I mean, I'm not worried about account 67. I have one account funded that if you all will give me 1 second, let me see if I got an email. I had a question about that account. Let me check something, folks. You know, look, you could get data problems in a cash account. You could get trading data problems, prop, cash. But let's be honest. There's more problems with data feeds with prop accounts than there are with cash accounts. It's just the way it is. It might be that the servers, it might be that the servers are just overloaded. Who knows?
Markets price ECB deposit rate at
They don't
2.43% in December,
admit or tell
from
us
above
what the
2.5%
problem
earlier in the
is
session
most of
after
the
Iran
time.
says Hormuz completely open.
All right.
ECB's President Lagarde says the
No
economy started in
information.
relatively
I
solid
needed some
position.
extra
She's just
information. Let's
echoing
get
what other members have said
set
from
up.
the ECB so far this week.
We'll start all the way on the right with RTY.
So US
All right,
futures continue to
RTY.
gain,
Right
extending
click.
gains after Iran's foreign
I'm
minister
going to
says
start
Strait of Hormuz
everything from
completely open
scratch.
for a remaining period of ceasefire.
Everything from scratch. So just as a heads up for everybody that's here, there is a P&L account reset. Account balances are correct, but daily loss limits not reset. P&L values not reset. There's been a Rhythmic problem. So, if you had a losing day yesterday, your daily loss limit is being based on yesterday. All right, so that's the problem people are having today.
Multi-flag
First
tanker
things first,
Agios
RTY,
Fonorios
right click.
says
I'll
it
put a
arrived and
reverse
anchored off
continue on
Iraq's
the
southern
chart.
oil terminals
Click
and is set
News
to load
Trader,
about 2 million barrels of
reverse
Basra crude,
continue.
according to Iraqi
Position
port
1
sources
is a
say.
1. I'll use a target of 35, and I'll use a stop of 35.
Since Trump now just saying that Iran has just announced Strait of Hormuz is fully open and
I'll
ready for
label it
full passage.
RTY reverse
Thank you.
continue.
Did see a little
And
bit of
let's
movement towards the
see,
upside,
I'll apply it
not so much,
and
but
okay it. And let me
just
figure
Trump
out
on
what
Truth
accounts
Social
I'm trading in
saying
this
Iran
morning.
says Strait of Hormuz is fully open and ready for passage. Thank
I
you.
will trade my RTY in account number 67. Account number 67. That is a funded account because it was positive yesterday, and it's a pretty conservative account. I'm pretty careful with it and pretty consistent with it. So I have a reverse continue, and I'll set up my RTY range trade as well. Click strategies. I'll double click news trader, and I'll load my template. Let's create the range. Forget the template for today for a minute. First thing I'll do is go to optional, show vertical line on entry, and I'll uncheck that. Show vertical line on entry is unchecked. Before I even do that, change the breakout to range. Breakout to range. Now go to optional, make sure that's still unchecked. Then go up to range trade. We will start
US
the
energy
range
companies
at
dropping pre-market trading
925.
after Iran says Strait of Hormuz open to all commercial shipping for duration of Lebanon
925.00.
ceasefire.
6 ticks above, 6 ticks below. Check.
See, Nasdaq 100
Show the
futures
range
extending
graphics
gain
on
now to
chart.
1%.
Label the trade
Also, the dollar index
RTY
erasing gains since
range.
the Iran war began.
RTY range. Account, what do we say? 67. I have to fix my reverse continue. Apply that for a second. Reverse continue. If it's enabled, you have to disable it. I'm pretty sure I said 67. We'll double check it. All right, back to the range trade.
Brent
Highlight your
oil
range
falling
trade.
as much as
Choose the
10% now
account you're
as Iran
trading
says Strait
on.
of Hormuz fully open.
Go up to the top. What
And
time are
just
you
seeing
going
some
to end
further
the
movement towards the
range?
upside on the S&P
9:30.
500. Of course, now post
9:30.
Trump's confirmation
00.
of what was said by Iran.
Position 1 is a 1. Position 2 is a 1. Target 1 is 10 ticks. Target 2 is normally 20 ticks. Iran announced that the straits are open for the duration of the ceasefire. Hang on. Iran announced straits are open for the duration of the ceasefire. Okay, that's why everything's whacked out today.
European bonds gain. Italian 10-year yields falling
Normally
14
10
basis
and
points
20 on
to
our
3.67%.
RTY. Normally 10 and 20. I'm going 10 and 25 this morning. Stop is 35. Like I said, the range ends at 9:30.00, right? Range trade. What time does the range end? 9:30.00.
Aussie dollar jumps to the highest against the US dollar, the highest since June 2022.
One position, position 1, one position 2, 10 and 20 normally on the targets. 35 on the stop.
UK 2-year yields falling
Target
13
1
basis
stop
points to
move
around
is break even. If
4.09%,
my
the
first
lowest in
target
1
gets
month.
hit, I'll move my stop to break even. The range starts at 925, 6 ticks above, 6 ticks below. Label it RTY range, choose your account, apply it and okay it. Make sure your chart trader is on the same account. All right. Make sure your chart trader is on the same account. So 67 is the account I'm trading the RTY. So all my RTY setups this morning, and I need to set up one more. Let me see what we got going here. No, I'm not going to set up, I might set up a magnet. So under strategy tab, my RTY range is set up for 67 and it's enabled, and my reverse continue is set up. Usually we put a magnet on for after the open, so we'll add another strategy, magnet. High of day, low of day, which is not going to be usable yet because we're at highs of days and low and highs of days. Position 1 is a 1.
Bank of England's pill says
-3
we
is
need
the
to continue
standard target
quantitative
1.
tightening. Bank of England should
Target
not be holding
2
gilts for
will
monetary
do
policy
10
purposes.
ticks above or below the high or low. 10 means 10 ticks above or below the target, and the stop is 35. And I'll program my buttons just because. So the ARS signal button, target 1 is 10, and we'll do a
Spot silver
35
rises
tick
nearly
stop. So if we
5%.
get a signal and we want to use the button
SIBO volatility
inside
index
the
touches
magnet,
over
you
2
can.
month low last
And
down
you can set up a reverse continue,
0.79 points to
stop of
about
30,
17.15.
target of 30. So you have a
Spot
one
gold
position
extends gain,
trade
last up
for
2%.
both buttons. Label it RTY magnet strategy. RTY magnet strategy. And account was 67 for all RTY range trades. Apply it, okay it. When you turn on a magnet, high of day, low of day, normally you have to set your orders. See, we're too close right now, so I'm going to turn the orders off at the moment and just we'll watch signals. I'll do my normal trades,
Bank of
and
England's pill
maybe
says I
after
would
the
prefer the
open
Bank of England to keep
we'll
going
think
with
about
gilt sales.
magnets. Going over to our YM in the middle, YM 0626. Again, making new highs. The YM's making new highs. So first thing on the YM, we'll put a reverse continue on like we always do. Click News Trader, reverse continue. Couple of contracts, and we'll do a target of 50, a stop of 40, and that's going to be our reverse continue. Label it YM reverse continue, YM reverse continue, and I think we'll trade the YM in account number
German
35.
2-year government bond yields
We're going
dropping
to
9
double
basis
check
points to
that
about
in a minute.
9.43%. Money
Apply it,
markets cut
okay
chance
it.
of ECB April rate hike to around
Account number
8% from
35.
15% earlier in the day.
Yeah, it was up a few bucks yesterday. That's a safe account to trade in. So we have our reverse continue. We'll set our magnet up on the YM. Click strategy, double click magnet. Let's go down and label it YM magnet. And you can shorten the name if you want. If you want to be ADHD, I'm not, but acting like I am. The account's going to be 35. All the YM accounts will be the same. And I'll program the buttons, but we'll start high of day, low of day on the YM magnet. And we will do one position, -3 target. Position 2 will be one contract. And we'll use a 15 tick target. And I forgot something on the RTY magnet, and I'll explain it in a minute. We'll do a 40 stop on the YM. Target one stop move, break even. That's what I forgot, BE, on the RTY magnet. Quick programming of the buttons. Position 1 is a 1, target 35, stop 35. Quick program, reverse continue, one position, 40 tick stop, 50 tick target, label YM magnet. We have the right account chosen, apply it, okay it. Make sure your chart trader is on 35. Double check all your settings. All right, right now, I don't want the high of day, low of day. Right now, we can watch it. Right now, we can watch it. Filling above 60. Filling above 60. We said we were going to fix our RTY magnet. Uncheck the magnet trade on the RTY. Right click the chart. Click the strategies. Highlight the magnet. And we're going to go to target one stop move. Where is it? And we're going to make it BE because did we use multiple targets on the RTY magnet? No, we didn't. We didn't. We didn't. We only used default one position, -3. So you don't need to update your target one stop move because you only have a one position trade. So there's nothing to update at the moment. We don't do a lot of magnets on RTY. It's just signal watching. So RTY is 67, the account, all right, and YM is 35. Then the MNQ. MNQ. Now, do you want to take high of day trades this early? It's not really this early. Do you want to take a high of day trade right now for another test of the high after there's been like 30 new highs? Not 30, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 15 new highs. That's not my favorite magnet because there's been so many. I would wait until the open. It may work. It may work perfectly. But I prefer to wait until the open. And I might change my mind in half a second. But if you notice, the volume is not that big. The momentum is on the wrong side. I think I'll wait. Let's let the markets open. Let's let the markets open. We can trade, we can wait. I'm not going to rush out of here this morning because we have no other events. Let's hang around and see how these markets behave. At least half an hour. I would be willing to hang around. And let's see what the markets look like. Then we have our MNQ. We're going to right-click strategies, click News Trader, put our reverse continue on, multiple contracts, one position at the moment, and we'll have a target of 100 and a stop of 100. Target of 100, stop of 100. All right. It's just a
US
reverse
short-term interest
continue.
rate futures rise.
MNQ,
Traders
label it
price rising
MNQ,
chance of Fed rate cut
reverse
in
continue.
2026.
And account number 40, let's see, is account number 40 usable? Should be. Yeah, it made a little bit of money yesterday. So account number 40 should be good. So our reverse continue is fine for account number 40. We'll put a magnet on the MNQ. Click strategy, double click magnet, high of day, low of day. Couple of contracts. First target default -3. We'll do another position. And we'll do 15 ticks through the magnet. Our stop will be 100. Remember, it's only $50 a contract on the stop. It's not like big risk. And then target one stop move, BE, if it hits the first target. And I'll program my buttons, inside buttons. We'll do a stop of 75 on the reverse continue, a target of 75 on the reverse continue, 3 contracts. We're going to label it MNQ magnet, right? We're on account number 40. I'm not,
Traders now see about a
no,
60%
never mind.
chance
Account
of a
40
Fed
is
rate
fine.
cut by
And we'll
December
do a quick
based on Fed
programming
fund
of the
futures
ARS
pricing.
button.
Two-year
Couple
gilt
of
yield down
contracts,
15 basis points on the
target of
day as Iran says
75,
ready for Hormuz open
stop
June
of
ceasefire.
75. You don't have to program the buttons. If you put a reverse continue on every chart, you can do all your scalping with your reverse continue. It makes it easier, in my opinion. So one more quick time on the magnet. High of day, low of day. Position 1, however many contracts you want to trade. Position 2, same thing. Target 1 is default -3. Target 2 is how many ticks you think it's going to go through the magnet, above or below, if you're high of day, low of day. So 15 ticks is my second target I'm using. It's not very much with the MNQ. 100 tick stop. So our magnet is ready to go. Account 40, apply it, okay it. We need our clock.
Aluminium on LME
Someone
falls
can
after
help me.
Iran
Why does
says
the
Strait of
clock
Hormuz open.
never stop going behind when it's not supposed to? Do you want to do another test of the high, or do you want to try and wait for the open? I'm leaning towards trying to
IDF
wait for
says
the
they're
open here,
to
even though
declare
I think it's
nationwide
going to
return
go
to normal
test the high.
activity Saturday.
The momentum changed, but volume is nothing to write home about. I'm just going to wait for the open this morning. I think it's going to work. It's hard to not do it. It's
Investors
hard
price
to
one
not
quarter
do it.
point Bank of England rate hike in 2026 compared to Thursday, which they saw between 1 and 2.
I'd have to do it right now. You'd have to do it right now. It would fill right about now. It would have filled. It would have filled. There's our blink. All right. MNQ. MNQ, our breakout. Our breakout. Click News Trader. We have a breakout. I'm going to load my template. Load MNQ new open. Right now, I'm looking like a genius on the YM. Looking for MNQ new open. Now I'm not looking like a genius. It could do it. MNQ, it's going. MNQ new open. We're going to date it, rename it the 17th. Now I'm not going to chase it. You don't chase magnets ever. That's rule number 1. MNQ new open. We have a breakout, a 35 bracket. And we're going for targets. I'm going for big targets this morning. Well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for pretty normal first target and second target very big. Very big second target and a big fat stop. 175 on the stop. Because remember, we're in an account that's just a run-of-the-mill prop account. Whatever happens, nothing is going to ruin my day. It's just not going to ruin the day. I've got my funded accounts, one trading on the RTY.
U.S. officials
So we have
says
our
U.S. military
breakout on
blockade
the
of Iran remains
MNQ.
in
Let's put
effect.
it on sim for a minute and just
Once again,
look at the
U.S. military
bracket
officials
size
says
with
U.S.
the
official says
time
U.S.
set to
military blockade
0.
of Iran
Normally
remains in effect. Just seeing a little bit of
929.59. We have
a
a nice
downside movement on
pullback,
the S&P 500. It's a tiny bit,
Order
not so
order
much.
which is
canceled.
fine.
Did
You know,
see
this morning could be a
tiny bit
frozen
of movement
order
on this
morning.
upside. Again, not really that
That's
significant.
worrisome,
Again,
right?
just comments coming
It is
through
a
from
little
U.S. official.
worrisome.
U.S. blockade of Iran remains in effect.
Our MNQ,
Okay, Trump's just updated his Truth Social post. Says the Strait of Hormuz is completely open and ready for
want to make
business
sure
and full
everything is
passage.
set
The
right.
Navy blockade will remain in full force
Let's
and
put it on
effect as it
account
pertains
number
to Iran,
40,
only until such time
and we
our
should be
transaction
ready to
with Iran
go.
is 100% complete. This process
Put the
should go very
time,
quickly, in that most of the
9:29,
points are already negotiated.
59, bracket of 35. I'm using targets of 35 and 200, so I don't have to do any trailing. And I'd rather not get filled
Seems some further
short,
downside movement
but
from the
I'm just
S&P
going to let
500
the
now.
markets do what they do at the open. That's what I am going to do. I'm not going to try and outthink the market. I'm going to let the market trade the way I normally let it trade. Okay? I'm not trying to outthink it. So we've got MNQ. Our setups are on number 40 account. Now look at the size of the range. It's very big this morning. It's a very big, it's much bigger than normal. I'm going to just let my trades trade. I'm going to let the trades trade. All right? At the open, I'm going to turn on the YM. And if it decides to make the new high, it decides to make the new
1
high.
minute ago now to give the market an open
If it
imbalance
doesn't,
data.
it doesn't. Whatever happens, I'm trading pretty normally. All right? Pretty normally. I don't like to overthink the markets. I don't like to overthink the markets. Anytime I overthink the market, it works against me. You can try and say, oh, I'm only going long today, but you just don't know what's going to happen. There's no way to know. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be long only because of the news, but you could get a retrace. We could get a VWAP test.
10 seconds.
Are you dying to take a short with 500
Order
points
submitted.
up?
Order
Not really.
order filled.
So we got a
Market
one
open imbalance.
target
S&P
Order
winner.
500
submitted.
buy side 234
One
million.
Order
target
filled.
Nasdaq
winner.
100
We
sell
got
side 100
stopped.
million.
No
Dow
surprise
30
that
buy
we got
side
a short
62
stop
million.
on
And
the
max over the sell side
RTY.
118
And
million.
that might have just been a little bit of bad luck, that short stop on the RTY. Just might be due to volatility right now,
Russell 2000 index
in
hits
all
first intraday
seriousness.
record high since US-Iran war began.
I don't think I want to scalp the
The
RTY.
stock
I mean,
indexes
I'm
extend gains. Dow
tempted,
Jones up now 1.04%.
but I think it's too much risk in a funded account. I don't want to destroy this funded account on a day like today. So if I'm going to scalp my RTY account, I'll scalp it, but I'm going to change my setups. I'm going to change the account. I don't need the range. That can be removed. And I don't need the breakout on the MNQ. That can be removed. The RTY, I'm going to just change the account. I'm not going to scalp in my funded account.
Snapflix shares falling 9.4%
Order
after
submitted.
downbeat Q2
Now hang on, because our
forecast.
YM got
And
filled.
company founder
Let's see if it goes and tries to
Hastings
make a
is
new
to leave.
high. Going to
As said,
increase the
US
Order
stocks
stop.
filled.
extend gains. Nasdaq up
Order
now
filled.
1%.
So the YM hit the first target and got stopped at the second target. So that was a $60 trade. I accidentally moved my chart That was a target one winner. Target one winner. And I accidentally moved my chart. So we had a target one winner on the NQ, MNQ. We had a target one winner on the
Quantum Wall Street
YM.
Journal citing an
We had a
analyst that say
stop
that
on the
Iran's Hormuz announcement doesn't
RTY.
provide clarity. It's getting according to
I
shipping
just want
analysts
to
cited by the Wall Street
change
Journal.
the account to a normal account. Let's go to 40. We can trade the RTY on 40 or 35 in both accounts. Like I said, this is the kind of day you could blow up a funded account by revenge trading, by being careless. I have no interest in doing that. I had to stop, and I will do my trading on just regular accounts. There's no reason to take risk on a day like today. Extra risk. Now, will there be more tests of the high?
We have posted out the Axios
Will
piece on
there
the
be
feed for
more
you to read
tests
through.
of the
It's now
high?
seeing Stocks Europe 600 oil and gas index down 4% as oil
There
prices
might be.
slide. Hits
Look
the
at the
lowest since
pullback
March
that we got.
March
You
23rd.
got a massive pullback
Also
on the
seeing global,
MNQ.
also seeing US
I'm
listed
not going to,
shares for silver
certainly, I
miners
don't
gain
have
as
any
silver
interest
prices rise
in
after
chasing that
Iran news
pullback.
from the morning.
Okay. Nitin, your RTY was not a stop. So that's what's crazy. But you could see it was a very tricky, it was a pretty fast
Shares
moving
of US airlines
RTY.
up after the
So I'm
Iran news
not
from the morning.
surprised at all that one person could have one result and another person could have a totally different result. When you have very fast moving markets, that can happen. So I'm not going to go cry in a corner. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just looking to see. So RTY, yeah, you had to use a pretty big stop. You had to use a big stop. So now I'm just watching for the moment. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to chase. I've got magnets on all the charts. If the RTY goes up, I'll let it do a test of the high. I will. Because like I said, what account are we on? It's just an everyday prop account. If it does great, fantastic. Now on the MNQ, I'm using the same account. Same account for the MNQ. We could use account number 39 if we wanted to, but we'll just leave everything the way it is right now. YM, when you're making new highs, I don't really have a trade at the moment. Am I going to take a short? Do you want to take a short at the new high? I'm not so sure you want to jump into a short today. You're going to get pullbacks, but look, this short failed. This short failed. This is the kind of day where you could get quite a bit of short failures. I don't really like the RTY all that much, except for the open, the exact open. It's just laborious. It's more laborious, it seems to me, than other instruments. Now, I am going to let it do this
Eurostoxx
test.
volatility index
I am
falling
going to let
below
it do
20
this
for the first
test
time since
because, like I
outbreak of the
said,
Iran war, last down at about
if it does
19.63.
it, if it does it, the MNQ VWAP is certainly an interesting magnet, right? We could definitely get to the MNQ VWAP. It could go there. It's had a fairly significant pullback already, though. That is a concern. That's a concern. And it's still pretty far from the VWAP. It's easy to program it. I think we have more of a shot of maybe making another new high on the MNQ. I would allow that. I would allow that if it decides to keep going up. Now the YM, you're going to get a pullback signal pretty soon. If this changes momentum for 2 bars, we will get a pullback. I'm just not dying to take shorts this morning, folks. I'm just not dying to take a short. Your stop has to be almost 100 ticks based on where the price is right now. Stop is 100 ticks. It's too much risk. It's a lot of risk in a market, in a very crazy market today, right? Today is definitely a crazy market. I'd rather be very, very, very structured, meaning when I say very, very, very structured, maybe just take the magnets. You know, if we get down to the VWAP, we
US
can
fertilizer
program our
stocks
VWAP. It's
drop
a
after
double
Iran
magnet.
says Hormuz Strait
See,
open.
you've got your YM signal. If you're going to go short, now's the time. You could do, you know, a 10 tick reversal, a 10 tick stop if you wanted to. You could just do a 10 tick stop. I'm not a big fanatical 600 point positive YM jump into a short. It's only made in the past 5 minutes 1, 2, 3, 4 new highs. 4 new highs. And it's a very big stop. It's the stop's just got to be, I mean, really, the stop normally, the rule is stop is above the high. That's like over 100 ticks. It is working. I mean, this is what's crazy. It is working. Arthur, we know what the problem is. We already know what the problem is. They just are having a problem resetting. They can't reset from yesterday. And when they fix it, it'll solve the problem. I wouldn't bother sending a ticket because there's no reason. We know what's going on. There was a message on Discord, the Apex group Chantal showed us. So the YM would have worked. That short signal actually worked. I'm not going to chase it now. Not going to chase it now. My only real interest is maybe VWAP on the MNQ. Maybe VWAP. All Bullinox. Yep, all Bullinox. They can't reset. All rhythmic Bullinox. They weren't able to reset. Daily loss limits and balances. It's the daily loss limits. And like Roz had a stop trading order that couldn't be updated. So are you going to get a VWAP on the RTY? We could, but it's already done a pretty big sell-off. It's a pretty big sell-off. I'm not dying to take shorts. I know this short worked, but I'm still not dying to take shorts. let's say you wanted to, right? Change to manual entry price, bring your order down to the VWAP,
Netanyahu says, together with our friend
all
Trump, we
right? Order
changed the
down
face
to
of the
the
Middle East
VWAP
and
and
achieved
target the
tremendous
VWAP.
achievements.
And it uses your same trade that it would have used on the high of day, low of day. So if you think that's going to test the VWAP, let it trade. Personally, I'd rather see it start going back up. If I see any change in momentum, I'll cancel my auto by just unchecking the button. And we're getting price action to the upside. I'm just, like I said, not dying to take shorts. All right. It could work. It could work.
Netanyahu also says at Trump's request, we will give an opportunity for an integrated political and military solution with Lebanon.
The YM reverse continuation for the open, I use a 35 target and a 35 stop on most normal days. 35 target, 35 stop, most normal days. Notice that it's like really struggling now on the downside. It's definitely struggling. So I think, some ways the VWAP is just a random trade. You understand. It's not as
Netanyahu
powerful
says,
as
for
a
the
high
first
of day,
time, we
low
have
of day.
established a deep security
I'm
belt on
turning
the
off my
entire northern
VWAP.
border.
Oh, whoa, look at this. All of a sudden,
Iran military officials, according to state TV, say military vessels are
all of a
not allowed
sudden,
to
you get a
pass Strait
big
of Hormuz.
push.
It's again, an Iranian military
Lot
official
of
says
chop.
military vessels
Lot of
are
chop.
not allowed to pass Strait of Hormuz, according to
Lot of
state TV.
chopperoo. Over the years, I've become much more patient, much more patient.
It's a reminder with
Turning
Iraqis is that
off
passage for all
my
commercial
magnet for the
vessels
moment.
through the Strait of
Going to go
Hormuz
back
is
to high
declared
of day,
completely
low of
open
day.
for the remaining period of ceasefire.
All right.
See
Back to
what the
high of day,
Iranian
low of day. I'm
Iranian
just going to
military
turn
officials are referring
off
to.
and turn back on
Probably
my
referring
magnet
to military
just to
vessels.
reset, just because I want to. If it fills me above 78, I would allow it. Above 78, I would allow it. Right or right. It's not that great a profit.
Netanyahu
It's
says
really
Hezbollah
not.
today is a shadow of what
Not
it
that
was in
great
the
a
days
profit.
of Nasrallah.
Remember, you don't have to do anything. You can wait for what you think is the best possible opportunity. Um, I missed the YM short. All right. I'm not going to trade. I don't think I want to trade for the VWAP because look at the pullback. It's big. It's just a little bit too much. We're talking 300 ticks. It just might be exhausted. Notice that we're getting upward movement with strong downward momentum in the squeeze. This is the kind of day where you can get very delayed. We have delayed signals. It's definitely delayed signals. So
Netanyahu
you
says, I
never
won't disclose the
it's
details of
always
what we
up
will
to
do in the
you
future in
if you're going
Lebanon.
to trade, if you're going to take risk. These are not 9:59:59 breakouts. These are completely discretionary decisions. And it's
Ludnig
hard
says Strait
on
of
a day
Hormuz
like
is
this
open and ships
to
are
make a
moving.
good discretionary decision. All the indicators are very lagging. Okay. That's honest truth. Indicators are lagging.
So Iran TV says ships passing through Hormuz need
I would hate
IRGC
to not get
coordination.
this darn VWAP, right? Now, I don't have my magnet set up. That would have filled. That would have filled my VWAP.
Order submitted.
So I could try for a scalp here, right? I need a big stop if I'm going to do it. At least a reasonably decent sized stop.
So it's from
And
the
I
additional
definitely
to the earlier
worry
headline.
about, like
Again,
I
you had
said,
Iranian military official says
definitely
military vessels not
worry
allowed to
about
pass
being
through
short.
the Strait
I'm
of
not
Hormuz,
comfortable
and the
being short. I'm
ships
just not.
passing through Hormuz
My
need
test
IRGC
was the
coordination.
VWAP. It was
Atlantic
not a
says
very
US
big
growth will hit
profit.
6%
It
under
really
Trump.
wasn't a smart
Russia's
trade to
main Black
take.
Sea port resumes loading
If you
crude
think
at
about it,
Kyiv.
it's not a smart trade to take.
Order filled.
All right, tiny profit. That was the VWAP test, and it was late. It was late. Okay. Now, the MNQ, I think that might be a little more interesting. If we could get in, target the VWAP somewhere around here, that might be interesting. All right. Target the VWAP with the MNQ.
Senior Iranian official says
See if
commercial
that'll
vessels
work.
can pass through Strait of Hormuz along the
There we
terminal
go.
route and with permission of
Order
IRGC's
submitted.
Navy.
I would make for a bigger stop at the moment. I want my orders out of here. And you're not getting follow through. We're just not getting follow through. That's the problem. That's the problem. Follow through on a day when you're so positive.
Order
So it
filled.
doesn't work on the MNQ. I will wait for an MNQ high of day, low of day. That I would do one more time. High of day, low of day, MNQ. If it goes back up, high of day, low of day, I'll try that. All right. I'll try that. Would I do this in a cash account? No, no. Prop account, it's like we said, it's play money. It's not a serious prop account that I've been working on for months or a month, right? It's not a funded account. It's, just trying to see if things work today. Now, the YM, you have the same situation. Do you want to take the VWAP? Maybe if it consolidated in this area for a few more minutes, instead of powering up, which works against the VWAP, I'd rather see it consolidate, hang around for a while, and then maybe you get your change of direction. Just watching right now to see what, if anything, will happen. It was a great signal, great signal. I would consider taking the signal. If we make another new high, I would consider taking a short signal because you're only going to make so many new highs throughout the day. 10 o'clock, we usually get movement in the index. I think it's possible that we get a test of the high here. How early do you want to go in though, right? How early do you want to go in? RTY is powering up again, pushing up, I should say. YM never got to the VWAP, never got there. So I don't call this an open strait. Senior Iranian military official, commercial vessels can pass the Strait of Hormuz along a determined route and with permission of the Revolutionary Guards Navy. I didn't think they had a navy anymore, just like I didn't think they had any more uranium. I thought the uranium was gone also, that everything was obliterated. Now you got a VWAP long signal here, a VWAP long signal. I wasn't paying attention. It's a little bit late now. It's a little bit late. There's no law that says you can't take a trade and just use a random stop, a 25 tick stop. There is no law. You don't have to use the VWAP as your stop, although I do believe that using below the VWAP for a long trade is your best stop here. And look, it didn't break it by much, right? It didn't break it by much. But I was watching something else, so I didn't see this signal. I don't know when it turned on. Okay? I don't know when it turned on. Now, YM. Would you let the YM test the new high with the magnet? Would you let the YM test the new high? Are you going to get another new high around 10 o'clock? Look at that. Look at that. Are we going to get our VWAP? Are we going to get our VWAP? Or are we going to get a high of the day? It's really hard to know. It's really hard to know. Now, if you want to fake out the software, you could move your short, and right here, if it does the VWAP, 2644 is my VWAP, but I would have to manage my target manually. I would manage my target manually. I'll play a crazy game. All right, I'll show you how this works. I'll show you how this works. So see what I did? I took our low of day order, which was way down here. I brought it up above the VWAP because remember, that's a short order. Okay? And I can check it by hovering over the entry box or the auto box, and it shows me where my sell is. 636 roughly. All right? I never turned on my high of day, low of day, YM. I'll let it fill. I'll destroy every account today just to show you how these magnets work. We should get a fill here. Should get a fill.
Order submitted.
All right, let's see if we can push right to the high. Can we get to the high? Can we get to the high? Can we get close? Can we get close? Let me get my stop to safety, and I'd be very happy. Stop to safety, trail, Target's up. All right. Trail. Let's get our first target. Let's get our first target.
Order filled.
Trail. And now, whatever happens, we cannot lose.
A senior Iranian
Lose.
official says all
Okay.
commercial vessels are
Let's
allowed
see
to
if we can
transit
get
the
our
Strait of Hormuz,
second target.
even
Trail
US
to the
vessels,
bottom.
excluding Navy ships.
Span the target. Why
So
not?
just a reiteration
Keep
of what's been said
trailing if
before
we
by the
can.
added bit of US vessels are allowed, excluding Navy
Keep
ships.
trailing. Expand the target.
They also
Who
say
knows
that
where these
navigation
markets are
through Strait
going?
of Hormuz will
I
be
don't
in
want to do a
coordination with Iran
VWAP.
and the IRGC's
I don't want to do a short
coordination.
trade. Right? These markets are telling me one short was enough. One short was enough.
Order filled.
Very, very nice trade. Very, very nice trade. That was $485, friends. That was $485. All right. Now I'm going to just take a break. Just a psychological break. I'm going to turn off my NQ for a
Trump
second,
on True Social
MNQ.
says the US will get all nuclear dust created by Great
RTY,
B2
I'm going to leave
bombers.
that alone for a
But
test
no
of the
money
high.
will exchange hands in any
YM,
way, shape,
magnet,
or form. This
turn
deal
off and
is in
on.
no way subject to
Just
Lebanon either.
reset.
But the US will separately
Turn
work
off
with
and on.
Lebanon
Now I'm
and
just
deal with
watching
Hezbollah
signals.
in situations
I
in an
was
appropriate manner.
thinking I
Israel
would
will
take
not
a
be bombing
short
Lebanon
signal
any longer.
if the
They are
magnet
prohibited from
generates
doing
it.
so by the
But
US.
again,
Enough is enough.
it's very hard to take a short after a $500 trade and upward movement like that, isn't it? Isn't
So,
that
reminder, according
hard?
to Axios at 8:24
Isn't
a.m.
that
Eastern
hard?
Time, you had
We're
headline that
going
the
to
US
get a
considers
signal
$20 billion
if we
cash
get
for uranium deal with
momentum
Iran.
changes.
Now
We
Trump
need the
saying
momentum
the deal is in
changes,
no way
okay?
subject to Lebanon either, but the US will separately
We
work with
need the
Lebanon,
momentum
and
changes.
that
We
there'll
didn't
be
get them yet.
no money will
Now, number
exchange hands in any
35
way.
is a
So again, US
good
will get all
prop
nuclear
account.
dust credited
This
by
account
Great
is
B-52 bombers.
almost
No
funded.
money will exchange hands
Almost
in any way,
funded.
shape, or form.
Let me see if I'm talking properly. No, not yet.
The Iranian official says transit
1400.
through
It
Hormuz will
needs
be through
1400.
designated safe lanes, which Iran deems
But
safe for
it's
maritime
heading in the
navigation.
right direction. Heading in the right direction. This is a new account. This is a new account on the RTY and the MNQ. All right. RTY, we missed our signal off the VWAP. We missed our signal. Would you still go for the high? A new high? I'll give it a shot. If it triggers, it might trigger 10 o'clock, right? Might get a move at 10 o'clock. On our MNQ, this was our low of day. I do not expect that to come into play. And there's your 10 o'clock move on the YM and the RTY. It was a slight directional change. A lot of people like to trade with 9:30 to 10, create a range, and then trade a breakout, after the range is calculated. 30-minute range. Very, very. Years ago, I used to be in a trade room that had a 30-minute range. That was the whole trade room. It was the 10 o'clock 30-minute range ES. 10 o'clock 30-minute range ES. I can't remember what company I traded that with. So let me tell you some of the rooms I was in years ago. I was in the riggers room. The riggers. And after all these years, he was right. The markets are rigged. That much is 100%. Mohan was right. Boomerang Trader. I was in the Boomerang Trader room. Mohan is still around. Still around. Claiming what? I don't know. 90% win rate. I'm not sure what his win rate is claimed. But his room, Boomerang Trader. Now, I found that software so difficult to tell if you got a signal It was like Christmas tree software. Looked good, but I never could do much with that. But I did enjoy the room. Mohan was a lot of fun. And it was always the riggers, the riggers, the
US stock
riggers.
index
They
is
rigged the
its 10
market. They
gains.
rigged the
S&P
market.
500
That was always
last
the
at
reason
1%.
for movement. But it was a fun room. Then I was in the early rooms. I was in very early. John Carter and Hubert Centers. Learned all about the squeeze in those rooms. Learned all about futures. There was a trader, I forget his name. He was the first person I ever met who traded grains. It was his name was
Shipping
Pat.
Association BIMCO
I
says
don't
they're
remember his
awaiting
last
more
name.
details of
He was a
Iran
pretty good
announcing
trader.
Strait of Hormuz opening
And there was a
before it can
YM
comment.
guy in that room, and I can't remember what his name was. Jay, maybe? No, I don't remember. They had a YM guy and a grain guy when John and Hubert, because John and Hubert weren't there very much. John occasionally would come and make a guest appearance and do a trade. Hubert did a lot of bond and gold trades in those days. And those were great, great room. That was a great
Francis
room.
Macron says nations
It
discussing
was
Hormuz
before
mission
they
cannot
became
accept any
simpler trading.
privatization
And
of Hormuz Strait.
obviously,
So Mali
simpler
had the
trading
UK and
is
France
John
leading the
only.
way to try and reopen the
John's
Strait of
company,
Hormuz
John Carter.
with their group of
Hubert
people,
and John
with
split up
nations
many,
separate
many
from
years
the
ago.
US.
It's the only split up I've ever seen in my life
Macron says a
where
neutral,
no one
independent mission
ever
will be set up
admitted
to
why
ensure
they
Strait of
split up.
Hormuz
They
remains
were
open.
like brothers, it seemed to me. And then all of a sudden, no more Hubert and John. Never a reason why. I could never see or find a reason anywhere.
Macron says a meeting in
But
London next
I
week will be
took
held on the
many
issue of Hormuz.
webinars and
Senior
classes
Iranian
with
official
them,
says without giving
and
a
I learned a
timeline,
lot from them.
unfreezing
And they
of
were
Iranian
both
assets has been part of an
excellent,
agreement
excellent
to open up
traders,
Strait
I
of Hormuz.
thought. Excellent traders. Then I was in a fun room, and I don't remember the order that I was in these various rooms. I'm watching the RTY. We'll do a test of the high. Then I was in a room with this guy named Scott. I can't remember his last name right now. Master the Gap. Master the Gap. He did so much research on gap trading. He was a smart guy. He was a helicopter pilot during the Gulf War. Hurt his back, I remember. Very good trading system, but it got so complicated with statistics, and if you're breathing the wrong way, you don't take a gap today, or if your blood is flowing up instead of down, you don't take a gap that day. It just became so complicated. And then he merged with another guy who was so technical, it just got too crazy for me. I couldn't do it. But it was a really good room, really smart, serious people. Learned a lot. And then I went to the dark side. I went to the dark side. DTI,
Order submitted.
Tom Busby. We are getting a test of the high here. Let's see if we get the test. It's pretty much a random stop. It's pretty much a random stop. If I can get my stop to safety, I would like that. It's only a one contract trade. Our stop is pretty much below the previous candle. That's all the risk I'm interested in taking. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's already gone against us, momentum. Now, DTI was Tom Busby. Tom Busby, one of the greatest traders I've ever seen in my life. No joke. A brilliant, brilliant DAX trader. One of the first people in the US to trade the DAX very actively. The DAX is the German index. And the education was excellent, but the selling never stopped. Never. It was so unbearable. The constant classes that they charged for. It never stopped. They were just smashing you in the face every second. Calvin, I don't agree. I don't agree. I just saw Busby take dozens and dozens of great trades, real good before the market opened, like 7 o'clock in the morning was one of his strengths. 7 o'clock in the morning, he was really good. Pre-market, really good trader. I blew up more accounts with the DAX because the DAX, if I remember, it was $25 a tick, and it was so volatile and dangerous in those days. I was trading on TradeStation. Oh my Lord. And I didn't know what I was doing really. And the DAX, I would get up in the middle of the night and trade the ZOO report, trade the IFO report, and it would just kill me. It would kill me. The DAX would kill me. I'm trying to get my stop to safety here, and I don't have enough room. I don't have enough room. Because if I move it now, it's going to take me out of the trade. You got to expand the target. Okay, we'll go to safety. See if we can trail a little bit, right? See if we can trail. We'll expand our target. We didn't get to the high yet. I'd like to get to the high. The RTY, I hate the RTY. I love it for the range in the morning, but I don't like scalping it. It just moves like it's got its feet in lead. Here's the test of the high, so that's probably the end
Order
of that
filled.
trade. All right, so not a very big profit, just $50. Almost not worth the effort. Almost not worth the effort. Yeah, we should have looked at oil. We should have looked at oil for some crazy for some crazy scalps. So everybody's commenting about Busby. Everybody's traded with Busby. I'm not taking a YM short. It'll probably work, but I'm not. How can you take a YM short? I mean, it's probably a good signal. It's not a very big stop, but you're so going against the grain. You've had momentum to the downside for minutes, and the price has just kept going up. So I'm just not dying to take that short. I'm not. I will let the NQ try to do a test on the high side. All right? That I'll do. That I'll do. Same thing on the RTY. I'm not taking any shorts right now. I'm just not. I'm just not. So getting back to some of the rooms that I was in, the DTI, as much as I hated the selling. So there was a couple of problems. I really did not like the guy that did the market open. I hated the way he traded. Hated it. Hated it. Not going to mention any names. Hated the way he traded. I didn't think he was a very good trader. He was decent. I hated the way he traded the market open. I liked Busby the best, but Busby never stopped selling. He was like a non-stop selling machine. Non-stop selling machine. It just became so overwhelmingly unbearable, I had to leave. I had to leave. And then I just was, in those days, I was a
IMF
TradeStation
members
user,
expect to say conflict poses risk to global
and I
economy.
was constantly using TradeStation, looking for programmers.
Saipov
I
in the
hired
statement to be
programmers
released later
to
today.
write news trading
Netanyahu says we have not
programs,
finished the job
and it
against
never was
Hezbollah.
satisfying.
Dismantling
And then
Hezbollah
one
will not
day,
be achieved tomorrow.
I
So, Reminder, he did
stumbled
make some
across
comments earlier on.
Joe Brackett Breakout. Joe Brackett Breakout.
So he did say that we,
I
together with
stumbled
our friend
across it.
Trump, changed the face
I
of the
became
Middle
a
East and
member.
achieved tremendous accomplishments.
It was the
At
most
Trump's request, we were given an
ridiculously,
opportunity for integrated political
crazily
military
run
solution with
company I'd
Lebanon,
ever seen. They had
and he said he won't disclose the details of what we will do in the
pre-DMMs,
future in
right? You know
Lebanon.
how we have DMMs now. Well, they had reports they called a HIRA, High Impact Report Alert. And if you took a trade, there was nowhere to go. They had a web chat room. It wasn't a trade room. It was like a crazy web chat room. There was one guy in it every now and then. So if you took a trade using their reports, there was never anyone to talk to. There was never anyone to talk about the trades. It was crazy, but I liked the software. I enjoyed the software. It put brackets on. I liked the reports they generated. Once a week, as Arthur will remember, Arthur, what did Jay call his once a week analysis? The guy that started the company had a weekly analysis of the reports, and that was very enjoyable because you got to talk to a person about the reports and the trades. And what happened was I was a member for about, I guess, maybe, I don't know, a year. And I just emailed them and I said, you know, you guys are ridiculous. I didn't really say it in those words. I said, hire me. You guys have a great software product, but you got a lot of work to do. Brian, right, forensic analysis. That's what it was. We had these forensic analysis meetings, and we would go over the settings and look at the trades, and Jay would show his trades,
Trump on Truth Social
and
says, now that the
he would
Hormuz Strait
analyze the
situation is over,
reports that he
I received a
generated
call from
that
NATO
month.
asking if we
Might
would
have
need some
been
help.
monthly.
I told them to
Those
stay
might have
away
been
unless
monthly.
they just want to
Brian,
load
do you
up their
remember,
ships
were
with
they
oil.
monthly or weekly? The forensic
They were
analysis.
useless when needed.
I
Paid
guess it
targets. So
was
Trump just
weekly. I guess it
criticizing
was
NATO on
weekly.
X. Excuse me, Truth Social.
And I sent him an email. Why don't you guys hire me? And I'll start a trade room and, you know, make this into a real company. Right now, you're not functioning as a real company. All you're doing is releasing a software program. And then there's nobody to talk to, nothing to do. And they ignored my email completely. Never heard back. A month later, 2 months later, I sent another email. And they ignored me completely. Never heard back. Month later, I sent another email. They ignored me completely. I never heard back. No joke. And then I sent a final email. I don't remember exactly what I said. I said, you know, you guys, you're ridiculous. I've sent you 3 emails. You didn't even have the courtesy to say, I'm not interested. You have a really good product. Let's talk. And they hired me. And the first week, I started a trade room with my own personal NinjaTrader account. And I didn't know what I was doing, even slightly. I had no idea what I was doing. You know, I knew I loved news trading, but I had no idea what I was doing. And if I made a single change to a report, I would get, I mean, just was not allowed to do anything different than the reports that were generated for years, for years. And then over the years, you know, trust develops, and that's where we are today. That's how it started. And from day one, I convinced them to let me work on the software and update the software. And we've had, you know, it was NinjaTrader 7 back in those days. And that's how it started. That's how this all started. That's the absolute true story.
Habag Lloyd
And
on Strait of Hormuz says,
the
will
big issue
probably
for me
pass
was
soon, but it's
working
too
on
early
the
to
software.
confirm.
That became like a labor of love. Constant updates. I'm trying to think what our first update was. Our first, so we had in the early days, we had the trap trade, NinjaTrader 7, and we had the breakout. That was it. That was it. There was no adjust button. There was no range trades, no reverse continuations. You had a breakout and you had the trap trade. And Ninja Trader had chart trading, so you could do reversals, but it was much, much harder to trade in those days. And I didn't know what I was doing. There were a lot of reports I'd never heard of. I never heard of University of Michigan. I never heard of, revised, what's it, non-farm productivity. I never heard of that. They didn't have the PCE price index. We didn't trade that in the early days. In the early days, the big reports was the jobs report. NFP was always big from day one. The oil report and the natural gas reports, they were huge. They were huge. And the bond auctions were very big movers. They were very big. Francis, thank you. Thank you. Um, that's I'm just trying to think other fun pieces of info. What reports were popular? I'll show you what the HIRA reports looked like. Now, I'm not taking shorts. I think you probably have a short here on the YM, but I think it's going to get to 1,000 up also. I'm not jumping into shorts, all right? We made over 500 in a good account on the YM. I will try to make back that small loss in the new account if the MNQ decides to make a new high. I will let that trade. But see why I'm not jumping into shorts right now? The news is just too powerful on the upside. Jay is still on the submarine, I believe, Frank. He's still in the Navy, as far as I know. Sal, you were around then. Everybody lost big on natural gas
Hezbollah
in those
parliamentary
days.
bloc affirms cautious commitment to
Oh my
ceasefire,
God,
but
I
says it must be
lost so much
comprehensive.
money on natural gas, and I still traded it. I can show you all an 8 whipsaw natural gas move. I'll get the video. Let me find the HIRA. I have trade room videos from those days. I have trade room videos from those days. I want to put them all on YouTube, and we want to make it a product. It's an educational product to look at videos. I have hundreds of videos. Um, Let me find a HIRA first. Let's find a
Parliamentary
HIRA. So
bloc
the
says ceasefire must include
pre-DMM
full halt
looked
of
like
Israeli
this.
hostilities
All
and
right.
restrictions on Israeli
And
freedom
let
of
me just
movement in
find
Lebanon.
one. There's features in the software I don't even remember how to use. I would have to get together with the programmer. I've done so many updates to the software. And it's not that I'm an idiot, because when you don't use something, you forget how to use it. There are some features in the software that I have to talk to the programmer to remember how to use them. And there are some features that we just don't use anymore. It's not that I'm stupid, it's that we just don't use them. Let me see if I can find a HIRA. Gold can be tough. Gold can be tough.
So
I
Trump
like
on Truth
trading
Social
gold
says
still.
Iran, with the help of the USA,
Um,
has removed or is removing
MGC
all sea
is
mines.
great to trade. I can't find my
So again, it
HIRAs. I don't have
says
any on
Trump
this
says
computer. Is
Iran
that
is removing
possible?
all sea mines with the help of the
It can't
US.
be. Let me see if I can find one. I'm not seeing any. Give me a second. I'm watching. Look at that YM market. I said I thought it's going to go to 1,000. I thought I had a HIRA, but I don't see any. Hey, I got one. I got one. So everybody trades the WASD, right? We all trade the WASD and natural gas. Here's what a HIRA looked like. This is pre-DMM. So high impact report alert. It had risk. It had the instrument. It still had the tick movement, last 10 reports, last 25 natural gas reports, and then it had some text. And it had a bracket and it had a stop, but it did not have a target. We never had more than one trade setup
Hezbollah parliamentary
for a
bloc says
report.
Lebanese government has taken
And
nation
on
into
WASD,
extremely dangerous phase by accepting
we
direct
traded
talks with
corn
Israel.
back then. We didn't trade soy. We had this feature in the software that tried
According
to
to the
help
FT, EU
if
Commission
there
is
was
considering
slippage.
measures to
It was just a
redistribute jet
feature
fuel.
that didn't really seem to
As
work
the FT
well,
citing an interview
so
with EU
it's
Energy
something we don't
Commissioner
use
Jorgensen.
anymore. That's what that little box was. But we've done a lot more testing over the years now
Hezbollah
to
says it remains
create
committed
setups.
to the
Our
option
whole
of resistance and
methodology
confronting
is
Israeli
different.
aggression
Our whole
across all
methodology is
Lebanese
different.
regions.
Nowadays, natural gas is not very risky. It just doesn't move in a very volatile way. Let me see if I can find that natural gas move. I am watching the markets. I am, and I said I promised everybody we'd look at the schedule for next week to see what our best opportunities are going to be, because I'm going to have to go in a few minutes. Let me find that natural gas unsafe, craziest move in any trade I've ever seen. Let me show you. I have it. I know I have it. And then I guess I could tell the story the day I lost $10,000 in cash in our trading account, live on the internet, trading the FOMC statement. No joke. I really lost 5 grand. And then I tried to revenge the money back and doubled my loss in about 2 minutes. And needless to say, I heard about that for a couple of years. I heard about that for a couple of years. Now, I did have a trade that didn't work horribly because it was such an insane move. And, I had a bunch of contracts on. But instead of just, taking the loss and shutting down, I tried to bring it back and literally doubled my loss. I don't have to tell you, you don't want to be revenge trading, right? In general, you don't want to revenge trade. Give me a minute. I found the natural gas move. These were the kind of move we don't see this kind of move very often, if ever, in the markets anymore. It might just be because there's a lot more volume now. It's really an unknown. I don't really know why, to be honest. I don't know why. But watch this. This was a natural gas,
$2,000.
7 whipsaws.
So you have to swallow the risk
Watch.
and trade.
I'm going to 1030. That's all I'm doing.
It's too bad I was
Natural
up
gas on the
2.6
left.
and getting out really quick.
This was a cash account live trade. Live
10
trade,
seconds.
Flat.
cash account. All right. Live
No one
trade,
saw me press
cash
the wrong
account.
time. No one helped me. Thank you.
Order submitted.
One
Order
contract,
submitted.
83
down,
billion,
up, down, up,
83
down,
billion,
up,
that's
down,
building
up.
a
Order
forecast of
filled.
76 billion.
Well, this is the reason we don't trade natural
Errors.
gas. So that's why natural gas
Frozen
cannot
orders,
be a family money trade.
and
US listed
by
shares,
miracle,
US
up,
listed
I
down.
have
crypto
never
stocks
seen this.
rises
I
Is
only
to
lost
exactly what
over
I was
2 month
saying
high.
$500 on that
about
trade.
Coinbase up
It was like
4.6%,
7
a
whipsaws.
and strategy
It was like
jumps
7 whipsaws.
13% again off the
It
back of
was
the
not
Iran
able
headlines
Order
earlier on in the
to
submitted.
month.
close
Order
my
submitted.
trade for whatever
83 billion,
reason.
83 billion,
It's
that's
just
building a
Order
whipsawing
filled.
forecast of
nonstop,
76 billion.
Well,
nonstop.
this is the reason we don't trade
It
natural
was like
gas. So
5 nonstop whipsaws. You
10
can't
seconds.
even see them with the naked eye. Now,
No one's
doesn't, we
telling
don't
me
get
type the
that
wrong time. No
these
one's
days.
helped me. Thank you.
But it could happen.
Order
It
submitted.
could
Order
happen.
submitted.
83 billion,
And by
83
some
billion. That's a
miracle,
build on the
Order
forecasted
filled.
I was able
76
to
billion.
Well,
close
this
out
is
of
the
that
reason we don't
trade
trade natural gas.
and only lost $500. That was insane. That was insane. So, should we blow up an account trading gold right now? Ray, I think I traded natural gas the next day because that was the natural gas the next week. That was the natural gas storage report. It was the storage report, and I traded it. We didn't trade it all the time with cash. We just didn't, as a general rule. It had been going through a pretty good period of positive trading. So it wasn't like we were just randomly trading natural gas. Sal, that date was 2021, September
Trump on
16th.
Truth Social says,
And I
again,
remember
this deal is not
that
tied in
one
any way to
member in the
Lebanon,
room
but we will
lost
make Lebanon great again.
$2,000 on that trade. And he stayed a member. He accepted it, understood anything can happen in a trade. There was no prop trading in those days for normal people. It was either cash or sim. You either traded money, real money, or you didn't trade. You didn't bother. You had to have real money to open an account. You couldn't open an account for $20 and start trading like you can today. In some ways, today is a lot better, right? You don't have to learn the hard way. You can rent, we rent accounts now, and you can learn to become a good trader without spending a whole lot of money. Although by the time you're done, you're going to spend some fees. You are going to spend some fees trading the markets because new traders, they're not generally passing their first eval
UN's shipping agency
and then
says
getting
currently
funded and
verifying
then getting
announcement of
money
the
out
reopening Strait of
the first
Hormuz
month.
in terms of its
That's not
compliance with
usually
freedom
how
of
it goes,
navigation.
right? Now, don't forget, I won't forget, we're going to look at the schedule real quick. I just wanted to see if we were going to get a move here on the MNQ. Let's get rid of the RTY. I'm done with the RTY for this morning, so I'm just going to remove my RTY account, the trading setup. I don't need it. My RTY is gone. We're going to change our YM to crude. Let's blow up an account. What do you say? We're going to go to crude, CL. All right. We got our CL. Let's see if we can get it working. Let's choose the right account, though, the right instrument. CL, futures. All right. So we're on CL. It's been making new lows. It's down $10. I'm not going to give the money back in a good account. No freaking way. But I'll trade CL in a meaningless account, right? I'd consider trading CL in a meaningless account. Reverse continue, a 50 target, a 40 stop. Label it CL reverse continue. And trust me, I'm not jumping into anything. Let's see what account we're going to trade it in. What account do I want to risk if I'm going to trade it all? Can I trade it in my 39 account? Let me see. Let me see. I think I can trade it in my 39. Let's see if I can trade in this account. It's a low contract account, this account. I'm only allowed to trade one major contract in this account. I'm pretty sure. Only one is allowed.
Order submitted. Order
I do believe I
canceled.
can trade one contract. So we've got a reverse continue if I wanted to trade it. I have a YM magnet that we can change, right? We can change the YM magnet, highlight the strategy, highlight the magnet. I am watching the MNQ, see if we get a test of the highs. The magnet, just one position. Not trading two positions. It's way too much risk. But we'll leave the stop at 40. The buttons are programmed pretty safely. All right. Pretty safely. And what did we say the account was? 39. And again, I'm not jumping into anything quickly. CL Magnet is the name. Trading's the game. So right now we're just watching CL. All right. We do have a magnet. You can put high of day, low of day on. It's above the order, so you're getting a trigger. So I have to turn it off for a second. All right. I can turn it on again. Right now it's pretty close to the high of day, low of day. There's such a big range.
Order
It's such a
submitted.
big range
US
that it's
stocks
putting the
extend gains.
orders
Dow Jones now
way
up
too
2%.
close to the current price. Oh, our MNQ was filled. I want my stop. It really should be below R2, but let's see if we can get a test of this high. Let's get our stop to safety if we can. Let's get targets expanded, at least one of them. Do a tiny trail, all right? Tiny trail. Let's see if we could get some money back in the MNQ. It may reverse on us. It's not the end of the world.
Order filled.
All right, we only made about 30 bucks on that MNQ. 30 bucks. Not sure why it says negative 308. Oh, I know why. That was a different trade. We had one lousy trade this morning. One lousy trade. No, that's $42. Number 40. Number 40 is our MNQ account. Let's make sure we're on the right account. Number 40. And we could have taken that high of day, low of day oil, right? Now you just got to watch oil. Watch it for a retrace. Watch it for a retrace. Uh, Nitin, that's your gold, 9 o'clock gold. Nitin, I'll save that for everybody. Look at that retrace. Look at that retrace. That's 50 ticks in like 30 seconds. That's why you have to be so careful. You could trade MCL. You want to look at MCL? Look at MCL. Turning off the magnet for a minute and the reverse continue. MCL, which is a good instrument to scalp. It's perfectly fine to scalp. 0626 is current. MCL it's $1 a tick. It's got plenty of volume. If you look at new market analyzer, not level 2, sorry. Let's fix that. New market analyzer. And if we look at MCL, 200,000 today's daily volume. That's plenty of volume to trade. Look at CL. Almost the same. CL's a little bit higher. MCL, perfectly fine to scalp. Perfectly fine to scalp. It's only $1 a tick, so much lower risk, right? Put your magnets on. I'm not so sure I want to go long in a market where I'm $10 to the short side. You got to be, this is the kind of day we almost made our money back in that one account. The one RTY open was our only negative trade this morning. Let's look at the schedule for next week. So let's look at
China's
the earnings.
DeepSeek is raising money for
That's
the
what
first
I'm
time
most
at
interested.
$10 billion
Earnings
plus
for next
valuation,
week
according to the information.
should be very interesting. So first thing I do is I usually let the website set itself, but it's very slow this morning. It's not setting itself properly. So I click earningswhispers.com. Now it's set, and you get the greatest hits along the top. So you could highlight them and see when they're coming out. No on Microsoft, that's 2
The
weeks.
DeepSeek seeks $300 million
Tesla
plus at
next
$10
week.
billion plus valuation
Apple,
in first
week
round
after, I
outside funding
believe.
round.
Palantir, one of my favorites, 2 to 3 weeks. United Health next week. That'll be a good one. United Health next week. Tesla next week. SoFi we don't trade. Intel next week. I like Intel. ServiceNow, that's a new one for us next week. AMD, not in a couple of weeks. Vertiv, never looked at it. Never looked at it. We don't do Intuitive Surgical. We don't do Cleveland Cliffs. Looking at the schedule,
So from the
the
article,
full
DeepSeek is
schedule,
in discussions to raise
next
outside
week.
capital for the first time, seeking to beef
Market
up its financial
open.
war chest so it can better compete in the costly battle
Nothing market
to
open.
develop leading AI models,
After the
according to
market
4 people
open,
familiar with
after
the
the
matter.
close, not seeing anything initially. Tuesday, before the market open, United Health, 100% trade. We've tried Grumman. It does not move the market. We've tried Tractor Supply. Doesn't move the market.
It's
We've
according to
tried
News Nation report
Halliburton.
here that they spoke to
Didn't
Trump
move the market.
on phone from Las Vegas
Maybe some of these defense
when
companies
asked about
will move the
if
markets.
Trump agreed
We've
to
tried
stop. So again,
3M.
when asked,
I'll
so
look at my
she asked
notes
Trump
on 3M
if Iran agreed to
and
stop
see if
enriching
we're going to do
uranium.
a 3M
He said
trade
yes.
or not.
They're agreeing to stop enriching uranium.
Tuesday,
They agreed to everything.
100% United Health. We will be trading that.
So Trump also
All
says
right.
Iran has agreed to
That's a
never close Strait of Hormuz
100%
again.
Tuesday morning.
That's on his Truth Social. Again,
Tuesday,
Trump says
after
Iran
the market
has agreed to
closes.
never close Strait of Hormuz again. It will no longer be used
Just
as a weapon
slowly
against the
going
world.
through them. I don't really see anything after the market closes that explodes out at me. United Airlines, unfortunately, it releases right at 4 o'clock. It's not tradable.
It's seen some further movement towards the upside on
Wednesday,
the S&P
before the
500
market
link.
opens.
Offer from the early headlines in the morning.
Wednesday, before the
This is
market
now to get a little bit
opens.
more of a boost from Trump, just from his latest
Boeing.
Truth Social, saying
All right.
Iran has agreed to never close Strait of
AT&T, I
Hormuz
got to
again.
look at my notes. I think that AT&T might have moved the last time. The cigarette companies don't move the markets. All right, 100% Boeing. That's a 100% trade. Vertiv, it's on their greatest hits. We've never traded it. It might tick some of the boxes. It's a $300 stock. It seems like it may have released
ECB's
on
book says we have
time.
yet to see the full effect of geopolitical events on bank balance sheets.
55. Maybe we'll do some testing on that. And then AT&T hasn't been moving the market. And I don't think we'll be trading AT&T. It's a $28 stock. We could forget that one. Not going to happen. Definitely Boeing Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon. Tesla is a possible. ServiceNow is a possible. IBM is 100%. I love IBM because it's very late. It's very late and it's a YM trade.
Both
So
ads, so
I
we need
look
to be
forward
vigilant
to
in monitoring balance
to
sheets.
IBM. And then I'm looking through, starting to get a lot of companies. Tesla, very difficult, not a very good trade. Historically, doesn't move well. Don't know why. Just the stock doesn't drive the futures well. So you can see there's a lot of companies releasing, not a lot for us. Not a lot for us. I'm actually quite happy with IBM, Tesla, and
According to Axios report,
ServiceNow
they
will
say
try
US and
again.
Iran have made
All
progress
right.
in discussions
Then we
of
go
a three-page
to
memorandum of
Thursday
understanding
before
to end
the
war.
open. We'll do American Express.
That's
I
Axios
don't
reporter
think
citing US
Lockheed has
officials
ever done
with,
anything
and
for
sources
us.
with
I'll look
knowledge.
at them again. American Express is a medium. It's a medium. It's never been great. It's never been great. And then still looking. There's a ton of companies, but and there's probably some that we're missing. It's a full-time job to check all the earnings. But I'm not seeing anything much above what I just said. American Express, maybe
Emerging market
Lockheed, will
FX
check
index reverses
Lockheed.
losses since the beginning of the
And
Iran
then
war.
after the close, we have Intel. Intel's tough because it's very close to the close, but it has a good move generally, even though it's a cheap stock. It's important. It usually does move the market. Now it's owned by the government partially, so it's who knows what Intel's going to do. But we will set up a trade. We'll try Intel. Not seeing much else. None of the big ones are this week except for United Health. There's a few good opportunities. Definitely some good opportunities. And then we'll look, see if there's anything Friday morning before the open. I'll double check Procter & Gamble. I know we've tried them in the past. Not really seeing much. HCA, it should move the market, but it doesn't. Three big companies, 7 o'clock Friday. Procter & Gamble, Charter Communications, and HCA Healthcare. But we don't normally trade those. Don't normally trade those. So that's what I see so far on earnings. We'll do a little bit deeper check, honestly. And then the regular schedule, my first thing that I do is I look at Forex Factory. Click calendar. And then Sunday night, I start looking. Monday, existing home sales. That's a definite trade.
According to
That's a
CNN,
trap trade
Trump
that's
is
been
receiving
working
regular
really well.
updates on progress of discussions in
ADP
Iran from
Weekly.
Pakistan
I'm going to set
mediators,
up a trade for
according to
that
US officials
probably.
speaking to CNN.
And we have PPI already.
Much of that
I
has
thought
been
we just
reflected
had
on his
that. We
Truth
had
Social page.
that doesn't make sense. We just had PPI. Seems to be correct. Uh, see what else we got. So PPI on Tuesday, ADP weekly on Tuesday. I'm in the wrong week. Hang on. That's why. I'm not crazy. I'm crazy. That's this week. I knew we just had PPI. All right, wake up. Next week. Next week. Nothing Sunday night. Canada CPI, that's a trade. New Zealand CPI, the market just opens that time of day. Not a good time to take a trade. Wouldn't do it. US retail, finally, by itself. Tuesday. That should be a good trade. That should be good. US retail, all by itself for the first time in about 6 months. Wednesday is flash day. No, Thursday is flash day. Flash manufacturing. Not been all that exciting. The European flash trades have not been very good. You might want to leave them behind this month. Natural gas, I'll trade. Natural gas, I'll trade. It's been occasionally giving us some decent money. Occasionally a cancel. Pending home sales, not a very good one. That's the worst of the home sale reports. New homes and existing homes. Existing is the best one. Friday, we've got Revise University of Michigan. It's kind of a slow, regular news week. It's not super busy. So the first thing I do is I go through, like I'm doing right here, I go through Forex Factory. Then I go through investing.com. They show a lot of European trades that Forex Factory doesn't bother with. So investing.com, put on the economic calendar, get rid of all this crap, click next week, and then I just go through the whole week. All right? I go through the whole week, look at the international trades, look at the ones that are the same from Forex Factory. They have some Japan trades that Forex Factory doesn't always put on. Sometimes you could trade Japan with the 6J, the yen, currency futures, and or the ES. But the
According
best
to
instrument
Intel
for trading
officials from the
Japan,
US and
Ninja
CBS,
doesn't support
Iran retains
the
thousands of
right
missiles and one-way
exchange.
attack drones.
It's hard to believe, but they don't. I fought with them for 6 months. They never added the best exchange to trade Chinese and Japanese news. And they're not going to. European, you got the British jobs report. It's been kind of mediocre. Zoo. If I was a European trader, I would subscribe to the FESX, which is like the DAX data feed,
Treasury 5
but
yields
it's more
falling 10
like
basis
the
points on the day.
S&P of Europe. The FESX, very high volume instrument, and it moves on lots of the European news, especially German news, because it is a German. I forget if it's not as German as the DAX, but it moves on a lot of German news, and it's much safer to trade than the DAX, lower volatility. So like the zoo, we used to trade the German zoo because it used to move the euro, and it just doesn't move the euro that much anymore. But the FESX or the DAX would probably have a tradable move on those
So we
news
have posted out
reports.
the piece for you in the Financial Juice newsfeed. It's
So I
further from
don't
this
see
then, Lieutenant General
anything out of
James
the
Adams
ordinary
submitted the
on
statement to Congress ahead of
investing.com.
House
Sometimes
Armed
they'll
Services
have
Committee
Swiss
hearing on Thursday.
CPI,
The remaining missiles and drones can
Spanish
threaten U.S. and partner
reports that
forces
we might
throughout the region,
give everybody
despite
a heads up
degradation
on.
to Iran's
And then
capabilities.
there's the
In
secret
addition, Iran poses a persistent threat to freedom of navigation through the Persian
tradingeconomic.com.
Gulf. and Strait
It's
of
the
Hormuz
only
and Gulf of
calendar
Oman,
that
including
lists
retaliatory seizures
grain
of commercial ships
reports.
and the threat of mining Strait of Hormuz.
TradingEconomics.com.
Adams also said Iran
Excellent,
has signed
excellent,
strategic cooperation agreements with
excellent
both China and Russia,
calendar.
but so far has not received full weapons
I
assistance
start
from
Sunday
them
night,
or from North Korea.
and when it's dark, it means that it's some impact. When it's maroon, they consider it high impact. So I just carefully go through all the events. And if I see things that are interesting, we'll do testing. And there's new events that come up that look interesting that we'll test. And this is how we come up with our reports. I go through multiple calendars. And I compare them to each other and try to come up with as many meaningful events to trade as possible. So tradingeconomics.com, very, very good. And then I double check myself with two more things that I check. If you Google tentative bond auctions, watch what happens. This is good. Tentative bond schedule.
Benchmark European diesel futures fall 15%.
And then click tentative auction schedule. Make it bigger. It shows all the bond auctions. So one day, the bond auctions will matter again. For us, we look at the 20-year, 30, 10, and 7. So I just go through the tentative schedule, go to April, and I look for the bond auctions, and I put them on the schedule. Right now, we're not doing rooms for them because they have not been moving the market at all. So, but one day, maybe they'll come back. And then I do one more. I do the WASD double check because I always forget about WASD. So I just Google WASD, click on WASD report. All right. And then if you scroll down, the next WASD report, it shows you the release dates. So our next WASD is May 12th because we just had a WASD. So, all right. We just had a WASD. May 12th. And then there is one more very important report that's a big winner. The quarterly grain report. So you need to know what the right name for the quarterly grain report is. It's the grain stocks report. Grain stocks. So if you Google grain stocks, you don't even have to be smart. You just have to use Google. Or you could use AI, I'm sure. Just Google grain stocks report. And we just had this report. And USDA.gov, an idiotic MAGA site. They should not be allowed to put some of the stupidity that they put on this website. However, the next grain report will be September 30th. All right? So mark that down and wipe it red, as Procol Harum said in one of their greatest songs ever.
According to Open Source Intelligence
Alright.
Monitor here on X, they say under the agreement, Iran would be allowed to have nuclear research reactors for
And that's
production
how
of
I do
medical
the schedule.
isotopes.
And
It
then
would pledge that all of its
I
nuclear
just go
facilities
through
would be
it
above
all the
ground,
time,
while
regularly.
existing underground facilities
Sometimes
would
I
remain
use
out
a
of commission,
Day.
including the ones destroyed
Sometimes
in
I
last year's Operation
use,
Midnight Hammer.
schedules that I don't normally look at to make sure I'm not missing anything. I'm very fastidious about it. And that's how we come up with our dates to trade. All right. Any questions? GE Aerospace, RTX, Northrop Grumman. So we've tested, Ray, GE Aerospace, They never moved the market. RTX, it never moved the RTX. I don't think we've tested. Grumman, we've tested because there's often other trades, and we've been in the room for Grumman. So certainly, I want to keep my eye on them because of what's going on and because of the attention to war and supplies. So maybe we'll put some trades on for those. So that's something I'll seriously consider, Ray. But I can't say that they're worth getting up for or worth staying up for because they haven't been. All right? They just haven't been. Hang on, I just have to ask my daughter if I can come over. Can I come over now? 15 minutes, I'll leave.
According
That's the
to
deal.
FARS News,
All right.
Iran considers the
Do I want
continuation
to
of
blow
a
up an
US naval
account
blockade
trading
as a
crude oil
violation
right
of
now?
the ceasefire and may decide to close the
No.
Strait of Hormuz again if the blockade is not lifted.
Am I tempted to
Again, that's
revenge trade
IRGC affiliated
my
FARS News
funded
reported, citing
account
an informed
that
source close to the
RTY
Supreme
didn't
National
work on
Security
this morning?
Council of Iran?
Yes. But I'm not going to do it with a long crude oil trade. I'm just not. Okay? I'm just not. All right,
From them,
everybody.
it also
It
says
was
the
a
source
fun
said Iran
morning.
had initially agreed, as part
was
of a
definitely a
Pakistan-mediated
fun morning.
ceasefire plan, to allow
Sal
a limited number of vessels to transit the
just said
Strait
he
of
watched
Hormuz
the
daily,
Bruce Hornsby
but suspended the
interview.
arrangement after the ceasefire was not
Absolutely
implemented in
one of the
Lebanon.
best
That was
interviews
not
I've ever
extended to
watched. Rick
Hezbollah and
Beato
Hezbollah.
and Bruce Hornsby. Absolutely fantastic.
And
In my
also had that
opinion,
Iran has now reopened
one
the
of the
strait following the
world's
ceasefire in Lebanon,
greatest
subject to three
artists
conditions.
who's
Ships
ever
must be commercial,
lived. That's how
no passenger
seriously
military vessels,
great I
and neither
believe he
ships nor
is.
their cargo
And
may
the
be
interview with
linked
Rick
to
Beato
hostile
is
nations.
fabulous. And he is a smart, nice guy, Sal. That's the thing. He's a beautiful person. He's everything I wish I could have been. He's everything I wish I could have been. Thank you, everybody on YouTube. Really appreciate it. I'll get you the link, Ray, right now. YouTube, we'll see you next week. Hit the like button, and thank you.